a roaming all around again, never the same old town again. I couldn't settle down if I choose, for I'm a bad man, singing the bad man's blues. I've got the blues. I killed a man a year ago, his draw was just a mite too slow. Hey, Mr. H, you heard the news. I'm a bad man, I got me the bad man's blues.
Today we're happy to bring you the story of John Wayne and add him to our Circle of Honor. For most of us, when we think of the Duke, we think of the tall, strong cowboy on horseback. With that image on our minds, we sense a longing to go back to some place where we came from, an America that used to be, where there was a good and a bad, a right and wrong, and no shades of gray on that scale between black and white. John Wayne not only represented that image, but was very much that man in real life. Today, we'll learn about how he became that man.
Okay, he was born in Winterset, Iowa, and what I heard is that his stepfather had some sort of bronchial problem and they needed to move to a drier climate. And so they ended up out here in Palmdale, California.
It was here where Marion had his introduction to farming and living off the land in the great outdoors. His father, Clyde, taught him many things while they lived here, among them how to handle a rifle and how to play football, a skill that would benefit him when the family later moved to Glendale, California, as he would go on to play that game in high school and college.
You can tell when you watch his films, you know, how physical he was. He was very dynamic, and for a big guy, he was very quick and smooth, light on his feet. Had great footwork. If you ever watch him in any of his fight scenes or in any of his movements, he was just, he was like a big cat, you know.
Welcome back to Warbirds Over Delaware, right here on Inside RC.
Hi, this is Tom Wopat with this week's Circle of Honor. Every now and then we get to honor someone of great historical significance. Today is our opportunity to do just that as we add General Chuck Yeager to our Circle of Honor. We're all familiar with his legendary flight that not only broke the sound barrier in 1947, but also shattered the barriers to supersonic and space travel worldwide. What we're less familiar with is General Yeager's close ties to the American outdoors and how this lifestyle has shaped him and served as a foundation to his existence. Throughout his youth, he hunted and fished the West Virginia woods and lakes in order to put food on the family table. After he left home to join the military during World War II, he would rely on those skills for survival after being shot down by the Germans in his P-51 Mustang. Post-war, he would continue his hunting and fishing pursuits for recreation between military assignments and test flights, sharing those activities with his buddies and his family. At 82, he continues to enjoy spending time in the outdoors and gives back by donating his time and resources to help raise money for conservation efforts. His patriotic roots are deep in the American soil on which he was raised and fought for, and his duty to protect that soil ultimately gave him more opportunity and fame than any West Virginia boy could ever ask for.
Well, basically, I was a typical boy raised in West Virginia, and since outdoor habitat, animals, wild animals and such were a part of our life because they were a supplement to the table for food.
He was extremely poor when he was little, and so he would go barefoot to school, and the reason he got into hunting and fishing was hunger. When he was 4, he learned about safety with a gun. By the time he was 6, he was hunting squirrel and bear and putting food on the table. So in those days, the kids actually brought their guns to school because they were hunting right before and then they were hunting afterwards. And he would be late sometimes to school because he loved hunting.
After watching the Boston Red Legion on the field and then blowing us away, I wanted to catch up with one of their players. So we found Kirill. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Now, how do you say your full name? You gotta help me out.
My full name is, the first name is Kirill.
Kirill.
And the last name is Prihidny.
Let's talk a little bit. How long have you been playing paintball?
For 5 years.
For 5 years. And how long have you been playing on Team Red Legion?
For 4 years.
For 4 years. And how long has the team been together?
Oh, the team is like 10 years old.
Oh, okay. Wow. So did the team form in Russia, or did it form here and then they brought you guys over? How did all that work out?
No, team formed in Russia. The team is basically all from Russia. Like, we got 3 or 4 players who've been playing in the first squad ever like 10 years ago. And now, as we are playing in National American League, we had to take several American guys, perfect guys from New York Extreme, and now we are some kind of an international team here.
Gotcha. How do you feel so far in the tournament?
We're doing really great. We really happy because we got all the same situation when we were playing in the semis with Philly, and they bet us by only 1 point. And they
beat you by only 1 point?
Yeah,
Philly did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we felt not very comfortable before this game, but we stayed focused and beat them.
That's great. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for you too.
And we appreciate it. And we'll be following you out there. We're looking forward to seeing more great stuff on the field.
Okay, cool.
Of course, what fed the Charleston economy were the plantations nearby, and there are still many beautiful ones that you can tour and visit around Charleston, and it is an important thing to see to understand Charleston completely. The oldest working plantation around Charleston is Boone Hall Plantation.
When you come to Boone Hall, the tour consists of a guided tour of the first floor of the mansion. Of course, we have Bob Howell's coach tour, which takes you all around the back roads of the plantation, talks a lot about nature and about the crops we're growing at the present time.
And if y'all want to know something special, just ask me, okay? Coming up in front of us here, and soon to be to our right, this body of water, this is a freshwater pond. Now this was man-made well over 100 years ago for cattle. It was a livestock pond. Well, we don't have cattle anymore out here, but we do use this pond. We irrigate the front gardens out of it. You can see a little pump house wrapped in plastic over there. We also do use this for wildlife and a bird sanctuary.
And these same maneuvers we use in some of our work with the tankers, depending on what's being asked of us. Then we, of course, have a line attached to them, so we're working around the corners and transoms and bulbs and bows of these ships. Now that you're getting a picture of what a full-size tugboat is, let's join the folks at the RC Foss Cup and see what the models can do in relation to the real thing.
Hi, this is Tom Wopat. We have the special privilege of adding one of America's most famous rodeo cowboys into our Circle of Honor this week, Mr. Larry Mahan. Even before Larry entered a kids' calf riding competition in 1957, he had high hopes of making it big in the rodeo circuit. By the time high school was over, Mahan had graduated from calves to bulls and busted out of the gate and onto the professional rodeo scene with a unique approach to rodeo from an athletic perspective. He brought his own style, flair for marketing, and people skills to the arena, and changed our perception of the rodeo cowboy. In the span of his career, he shattered rodeo records, becoming a 6-time world all-around cowboy champion, a title that he held until Ty Murray broke it in 1998. Since his retirement from rough stock events in 1977, Larry's been busy with several projects, which we'll learn about today. His most recent focus being the training and breeding of quarter horses, and the operation of the saddle sore ranches in Colorado and Texas with his wife, Diana McNabb Mahan.
I grew up on 2 acres in Brooks, Oregon, 9 miles north of Salem, the state capital, and we claim to be the onion capital of the world. I was probably the first rodeo guy that came from Brooks. And I grew up around horses. My dad always had a few horses around and loved them, and tried the rodeo game when he was a younger man, but back in the early 40s, it was more about survival than going out there and riding all these bucking horses and so on. I entered my first rodeo in Redmond, Oregon in 1957, and I entered the calf riding. And I won the calf riding event, $6 and a belt buckle. And so again, I said, this is what I have to do for a living. I mean, for 16 seconds of work, I made $6. That was a lot of money back then. And of course, I spent the money, but I still have the buckle.